On this episode of the Conscious Business Podcast, we talk about going to the barbershop and getting referral business. And then we talk about how many deals it actually takes to be successful, especially in Justin's career of being a mortgage broker. And then we talk about what we see for the market shifting right now. And then Justin gives a little bit of advice on how to give advice to clients that aren't qualifying for the amount of money that they're hoping. And then we talk about what we need to do and how we need to adapt to continue to be successful in business throughout the next year. And without further ado, here's the episode. This is the Conscious Business Podcast. I know you're in your business card photo. Your beard is a lot
more trimmed. Yeah,
chiseled. Chiseled would be the word.
Yeah. It's a little bit. It's more unruly now. Now it does what it wants.
I've been really busy the last couple of weeks. I missed a couple of haircuts, so.
You've been missing the barbershop.
I have, yeah.
Actually, I don't even remember the last time I went to the barbershop.
So my barber, she's moving away. Sadly, didn't list with me. I'm not upset whatsoever about it. Like, actually, I'm not. Right?
It took me a long time to learn. Friends and family will be the last people to come to you.
Well, go ahead, Clay. Tell me, how many referrals has your mom given you?
I have gotten 0.
Whoa!
There's another neighbor on my street that's listed right now.
Really?
And they're like, good friends. I waved at her the other day. The worst part is it's been on the market for like 8 days. It's still a picture from the MLS from when it was sold in like 2001. So I'm just like,
realtor problems.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Who is this person? Who hired this person?
You know what's really funny? I reached out to a realtor that I was really close to. You probably can figure out who I'm talking about, who has a real estate team. And he told me that he was looking at part-time jobs. That's how confident he is that he can continue to provide work going forward during this downtime.
Wow. That's scary.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So, but is that his outlook on the market, the outlook on his ability to perform in the upcoming market? Like, what is that?
Or manage a team to actually get them to do what they need to do.
So it was coming from his aspect, and I think it's what he figures the world is like, the recession we're coming to kind of idea.
So because of that, he wants to get out of a position where he potentially could still make good money and go back to a T4 hourly job.
Potentially.
That's wild. It is. And if somebody who has a team, you've invested a egregious amount of time into creating that team.
I would say maybe more money than he probably should have as well.
Yeah.
Or overpromise and isn't able to.
Yeah.
Times were good the last 2 years. Hay was being made.
Good times force people to often spend more money to scale faster, like run before you could walk.
Yeah.
And if is that what happened?
I think so. I think a little bit. I think I feel like he didn't, like, he's taking the word of a few other people in regards to like incorporating and things like that as well.
He's running that team and he hasn't incorporated.
No. So I believe money for the team, and this is purely speculative, but I think it's not optimal. And I think we can probably all agree to that.
Yeah,
right?
It's an expensive business.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see why he thinks that. I mean, I've had my own, like, as things have shifted here the last month or two, where I'm like, oh God, right? But you have to have faith that, you know, for a broker to have a spectacular year, you only need 20 deals. So I gotta, you know, at the house prices we have, you know, I could convince 20 people to work with me, right? Like,
well, and not only that, because I'm looking at the same thing. Like, houses aren't selling, and I got a handful of listings coming up in the next little bit, where buyer activity, you know, the further you are east in the Fraser Valley, the colder it's getting, right? Yeah. And so, like, I'm thinking, like, are these going to be even guaranteed paychecks? Where, you know, 6 months ago, any listing is like, sweet, I'll have a paycheck, you know, firmed up in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a lot different world.
Yeah.
I mean, this is my and probably you too. This is probably your second real shift in the market, I would guess, right?
This is like at the point right now where we are in the market is where I started
Yeah. So that's about the same.
5 years ago.
Yeah, and I had noticed a shift end of 2019 into 2020 because the Bank of Canada had given a big raise then as well, going into COVID. So this is kind of what we were seeing then as well. And so, you know, people like there's still deals, like people still need to move, people still need to buy, like, you know, little Johnny and Sally that are 22 are still gonna want to buy their first condo, like just because your house isn't selling for $1 million over what you're asking for.
They may wait for prices to come down another 25%, but
maybe.
To be honest, like as a buyer, this is an optimal time.
100%.
Nobody bought Tesla stocks at the top, right?
No,
they buy it when it goes down. Well, hey, you know what? And you probably thought it was a poor decision at the, like, hindsight's 2020, right? So, like, if you're going to go into a buying situation for a home, you want to have a feeling that you got a good deal. And if you're going to buy something and you're going to have it for 10 years, it's going to produce the results that you require, which is a little bit of growth.
Yeah, but hold that thought. Buyers here, and you guys can maybe you deal with them a bit more, do not expect necessarily to be in that home for more than a couple years.
no, because we have been in such a fast inclining market where you can pull equity out of your house within a year, 2 years.
So that's something that I've had to reiterate to a lot of my clients lately has been, this has to be a 5 or 7 year plan for you at the earliest, because, you know, rate cycles we see are generally 4 years. So if this is, well, it's not even a question if it is, this is a rate cycle. So we're going to have some high rates for a bit, right? And if your qualifications change due to our awesome government, then so be it, right? But I agree with you that this is the best time for somebody that owns a condo to try and get up to like a townhouse, like because they've come down 150 grand. Condos are kind of stayed stagnant. That it's easier to make up that.
Yeah. And like let's throw a blanket percentage on the market. Say you drop 10%. 10% of a $2 million home is more than 2% of a $1 million townhouse. And that percentage is even lower as a dollar value of an apartment drop in that 10%. So if you're going to move up, you're going to have more buying power to get into that next spot, instead of people were genuinely chasing the market last two years.
I know.
And they couldn't get into something.
Well,
their financing was almost expired in terms of the actual buying power that it got within weeks.
I just had a conversation with a client last week who wants to bring on a co-signer to qualify for more. And I actually had to be like, this is not the best decision for you. Like you won't be able to live your life at like your mortgage payment of $1,500, but you're only making $38,000 a year. Like you won't have you have 2 children, right? Yeah. I can't out of good conscience do that for you.
Where do you draw the line with that though? Do you advise and then still do what they tell you to do?
I'll advise, and if they want to do it, then I'll pass them along to somebody else.
Yeah.
I'd rather cut ties with this is a great segue too, because like I personally would rather cut ties with somebody that's not going to take my professional advice and understand that, like, my view of the way we do a transaction is probably a good word would be conservative, that we're cautiously going to go at it, right? I'm not going to risk somebody's financial future, nor will I risk their family's livelihood of being able to be in a home to make a transaction and earn $12,000 or $30,000, whatever it might be at that moment.
If this situation came to me late 2020, I would have been okay. Let's do it. But not
because you're more hungry.
Yeah. No, not even that.
Are you talking market wise?
Market wise.
Yeah.
I would have, because not to toot my own horn, I did see, I saw a lot of high net wealth clients as COVID came that were refinancing to be really cash heavy. So I did feel like we were going to see a crazy big uptick late 2020.
They were just early.
Yeah.
Which, again, I've been telling all my clients, what happens in the market is going to be heavily dependent on government intervention.
Yeah. So I did see kind of what we had happen last year. I did kind of figure it was going to be a good year. Didn't think it would be as good as it was, obviously.
So then from your position, seeing things slow down in the marketplace, and then your friend or our mutual friend who is looking at possibly exiting or going part-time or decimating his team or whatever it may be, what are going to be the big money-making activities for the next 6 months, 8 months?
Prospecting. I think just staying in front of clients, even if clients don't want to move or don't want anything, just be letting them know that you're still there and you're there for their well-being, not for a transaction.
Okay. Well, I mean, that is 100% something that needs to be done all the time. But like, we're talking money-making activities. What are you doing to put money in your accounts sooner than later?
Like with my clients?
Mm-hmm. Like what? Like
see, because like those calls when I call my X database always get me. I get something out of the 5 calls that aren't realtors that are business partners. I always get a new lead. 1 out of 5 every single time. Like clockwork.
Nice.
So that is money making for me.
Thanks for watching the Conscious Business Podcast.